Hello, my name is Travis Newbill. I live and work here at Shambhala Mountain Center, where we're really excited to be hosting a retreat this coming September called Sacred Embodiment, Sacred Service, a retreat for women. And that retreat's going to be hosted by Judith Ansara and Danya River. Really excited to have Judith here today to have some discussion related to the retreat and some of her work. Judith has been pioneering teacher of applied human consciousness for 30 years, synthesizing her immersion in Buddhism and other wisdom traditions with her experience as a psychotherapist and leadership trainer. She teaches internationally at centers such as Omega and Ensalon, and trains and coaches health practitioners, social change leaders. Master of the Arts of Conscious Embodiment, she also leads couples retreats with her husband, Robert Gass. Thank you so much, Judith. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Ansara, yep, you got it right.
Ansara, good guess. So thanks for joining us. Where are you joining us from?
Well, you're welcome, and I am on a little island called Cortes Island off the coast of Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada. And a gorgeous little retreat center where I come every summer to teach. And I'm on a little out-breath after a fairly intensive couples retreat with 24 couples that we finished a few days ago.
Wow.
I'm happy to report they're all alive and well. So.
Good, maybe even more well than they were before.
I hope so.
So reading the program description for the retreat that you're going to be leading here, it begins, as women we innately understand and experience the interconnectedness of all life and the wisdom, creativity, and power that is part of this knowing. In this day and age, in contemporary thought, gender ambiguity and the ambiguity of sexual identity is a common theme. So I wonder if we may start with like the basic and huge question from in your perspective, like what is it that makes a human being a woman?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I can't speak to all the nuances. I am really pleased and touched by modern consciousness opening to all the nuances of gender and nuances of gender identity, and so I'm a huge fan that we have a world and that we're living in a world where our limited categories about gender are in fact expanding. And having grown up in a feminine gendered body, being the mother of 3 kids and a grandmother of 1 and another one partly cooked, you know, I have both that view of, this is, you know, the body I've been given and the body that I've lived in, and I really believe that everyone has what I would say are archetypally or archetypically masculine and feminine energy in them. And so on one level the question, because I can't begin to answer the vastness of that realm for bi and transgendered and gay, lesbian people, you know, it's sort of, I think, beyond the scope of our few minutes that we have together for me to dive into trying to explain my view on all of that, just to say aho and blessings on us all as we get more expanded in this way. And I think where I will direct us, though, Travis, is why would I do a retreat for women who identify as women, no matter what their sexual preference is, or whether they have a more less rigid, like I am a woman only, or I'm a heterosexual woman, or I'm a gay woman. But why would I call women together? And so I'm really wanting to reach, because your question went deep. There's something for me. I mean, I guess it's really quite personal, both personal and social, political. Personally, I love hanging out with women. Something happens in that field where there's a resonance. I think we need each other. We help each other dig deep. It's really important that we cultivate trust with one another. And what I've seen over decades and decades of teaching, where I've taught both men and worked with men solo and worked with transgendered and bi people in groups, and some in my counseling and coaching practice, there's something that's quite remarkable when a group of women come together as women, no matter what that nuance is for them. It's a different energy than a mixed group. And I just personally love having that opportunity to be together with other women. It's just special for me, and I love to see what happens. And I think there's, we come at that from different places in ourselves. Some of us are very easy with our relationship with mothers and sisters and other women, and some of us have a variety of degree of wounding in that area of our relationships with women, as well as our access to, again, I have to use the word almost like it's an archetype, as our feminine aspects. I work with a lot of activist leaders, and one of the main things people come to me is saying, I'm great out in the world. I'm a career, I'm ambitious, I get a lot done, I'm really effective, and I feel like I'm missing some softer, more receptive parts of myself. And I just hear this so often. And the other thing that I hear a lot is leading women's circles, which we do in all our retreats for couples, where we lead women's circles and we talk about our sexual experience. And I find amazingly that over the years there's a tremendous wound in many, many men and women about sexual identity, sexual experience. And there's something quite exquisite that happens in the field of permission and good facilitation and mutual respect that is very healing for people to be able to just share in that kind of context.
So do you find that it's I guess you put your finger on one common thing that's maybe shared among women in this culture, but just gathering together. What is it are there particular exercises or things in the process that really allows growth and healing and transformation, and how did you begin to develop those sorts of practices?
Oh, you're asking questions that are so huge in their answers, so I'll try to, you're talking to someone in her mid-60s, and I've been on a very committed path of consciousness practice, service in the world since I was in my early 20s. So I'm not going to attempt to recap my entire spiritual history and how I came to this, but just to say that I've really been very blessed to study with real masters from a whole variety of traditions, with Buddhist practice being a really strong root for me over the years, but with Sufi masters and Hindu masters and shamanic practitioners. And I think for me it really started with a very young understanding that the different paths that are available to us, that at the essence, at the heart of, for me, is that every human being deserves to cultivate their own direct experience of whatever we might call it. Some people say God, some people say spirit, some people an experience of non-duality or oneness or non-separation or the unknowable. And that is something that in the hearts and spirits of most people, and I would imagine anyone who would be drawn to a program at Shambhala, there's this yearning, and for many people a path of practice and exploration that we undertake because we have this yearning to experience a life that's beyond our separate self, that's beyond our normal day-to-day activities, that's beyond the impact of our conditioning and experience over a lifetime. So that's what that work is for me. And I often feel, one of the ways I most like to describe what my particular focus is this notion of that there's twin flames of here I am, an embodied person, and I grew up in the family I grew up in, and I had these experiences, and this is the work I do, and I happen to be a mom, and I have a long-term marriage, and other people have very different life experiences. And I've got the set of, in Hinduism, it's called the samskaras, the places where we're stuck, where the personality is kind of sticky and not always serving us in the best way possible, which is often the impetus for inner work because we're suffering in some way. But there's a marriage, and I like to think of it actually as a sacred marriage, between that personal self and, for instance, I go out in the street and I get hit with a bus. It's my body that's a mess in the hospital, not yours, right? So there is that actual, I'm a person here and you're a person, and there is a very natural sense of, there's Travis, here's me, we're different. And yet at the same time, there's the interface and interrelationship of where there's not separation, where we're one being, where we're all part of a whole, often referred to in Advaita or Dzogchen as non-duality. That there's this sense of there's form and there's formless, and they are completely interwoven and interdependent. And so, one of the main interests in my life through my own practice, but also through the opportunities that I offer to people in class, is how do we dance that? How do we dance that sometimes challenging line and sometimes ecstatic line of being me, Judith, you, Travis, our own lives, our own history, our own experience, our own emotions, our own thought patterns, and that place of merging and non-separation? And how do we walk that? And in essence, for me, that is the essence of my spiritual path. That's why this retreat is called Sacred Embodiment and Sacred Service, which we can talk about in a minute. But that this body, this experience that this being has through being here, right here, not living out there, that is my vehicle. That is all the vehicle that we get to if we yearn for awakeness, or more consistent awakeness in our lives. We do it through this. We don't do it in an abstraction. So that's why the term sacred embodiment, right? Because this is the sacred vessel that I've been given to walk in. That's a sacred vessel that you, or any of you listening, have been given to walk in.
And you mentioned before, what you hear from a lot of women who you do retreat with is what I understand to be, from what you said and my understanding of Buddhist philosophy, sort of masculine principles being emphasized in their attitude or approach towards life, trying to strive in career and accomplishing, and the softer, more nurturing, spacious sides may be neglected. And as you were just talking about, non-duality, and there's me and there's you, and the sort of the tantric iconography of the masculine and feminine, really truly each fully realized and in union. Wonder, is a lot of what you're doing in these retreats allowing the feminine to become realized again, or become embodied, and is that in response to the leaning of our culture?
I'm really wanting to respond in. You're a great question answerer, and you're taking big swaths. So I want to keep on keeping it grounded and as specific as I can for people listening. Um, so, people come to retreats for all kinds of reasons. So I would not want to say that this retreat is only appropriate for women who feel cut off from their feminine. Another thing that we hear a lot is that women who are more connected to that receptive, softer, more vulnerable parts of themselves often have a hard time or a harder time kind of being out in the world or feeling valued even for their particular strengths and way of access, because in fact we still, in spite of all the progress that we've made, and I was on the feminist train in the early 70s when I was a young woman, in spite of all the progress we've made, there is still a bias towards where success and appreciation and acknowledgement is felt and seen is often through that doing. Who are you in the world? What do you do? What do you have to show for yourself? And I'm a big fan of everyone, but in this particular case for women, to find the validation in themselves and with each other for their ways of thinking and feeling and experiencing and leading and doing in life that are often have a different access point or style than what is in the quote dominant culture, the phrase that we used. Where even those of us who feel strong and empowered, we can put ourselves down, and we can also feel less recognized when we're in that more receptive, less linear part of ourselves. And so I feel like it's really important. One of the things I think we do as women is we go like, oh, yeah, that's leadership. Oh, the way you're relational with someone, that's leadership. Oh, it's not about having to be the best and have power over people and I'm the one who knows. But we can find the wisdom in partnership, in relationship. We can work as a team. I don't have to be the one with the answers. And I can dive to a deeper part of myself to find my own truth. And one of the things we will be working with very actively on the retreat is accessing inner wisdom, inner knowing, so that we can find the direction of our own heart. We can find that voice of wisdom in ourselves so that we don't have to look externally. We can move from the shoulds of life, which all of us have, to a place of where we can feel and sense what authentic inner movement is, and let our movement in the world come from an internal wisdom seat in ourselves. That makes
And
sense?
it does, and it seems like maybe you're getting leading towards the notion of sacred service.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where
Well,
that?
yeah, and let's remember we're not doing a 10-day retreat or a 5-day retreat. We're coming together for a weekend. So, what do I want for people there? And I will address the sacred service aspect of it. But, we can come and we can expect to be in deep communion first and foremost with the parts of ourselves, that inner wisdom, our sense of connection in a wider sense to consciousness, to awareness, to presence. We can expect to come into communion and meeting and relationship with other people from that place where we can raise each other up and support each other's access in that way. We come together to deal with some of the nitty-gritty of the challenges that we all experience in life, support and help each other. So we'll have practices that both help us access internally. We'll be supporting and coaching each other through dialogues and exercise. We'll be, of course, in beautiful Shambhala land, where the natural world and the power of the practice done on the land and in the buildings there is a strong presence and influence, which is why I love to come to Shambhala. And we'll be working through the body. So we work through the mind, we work through awareness, we work through the conditioned self, our challenges and how we view things that may be limited. And we'll work through the voice and the body. Donnie River, who is going to be assisting me, is actually my daughter. So it's really fun for us to be able to come and to have her help. And she is both a very gifted somatic therapist, as is in my past, but also a beautiful, beautiful singer and writing coach. I mean, not writing coach, well, she does songwriting coaching, but really beautiful at helping people find the power and creativity of their own voice, not necessarily as singers, but how do we bring our voice, our wisdom, our caring into the world. And I have a lifelong practice as an improvisational dancer. So it'll be fun for us, and I think for all of us there, to be playing in those realms together. And service, you asked about service. So I think there's a yearning in each of us to feel and claim the gifts that we're given, to develop those gifts, and to be able to move them out into life in a way that feels in service to life. I think I don't know anyone in this world, in the worlds that I travel in, that doesn't go like, wow, there's some significant challenges in our world today. From ecological devastation to, everything from that, chronic diseases that are much more prevalent because of the way we've lived, to social injustice. We could go on and on. But certainly it's a frequent topic of conversation pretty much everywhere I go. How do we live in relationship to life as it is and the challenges we're facing? And I think everyone in their heart wants to somehow serve life. And whether we do that by spending a year or 2 years living at Shambhala, deepening our meditation practice, or whether we're an activist out in the world, or whether we're a parent, or whether our job is not something we love, but we have other ways, or we're yearning for other ways to express them, or whether we're yearning for work and livelihood, right livelihood, which actually expresses our values and our gifts. I've not met anyone who isn't on that path and feel like, gosh, I feel as I do, incredibly blessed to be able to do work that feels in alignment with my commitment to serve life. And one of the things I feel very graced and blessed to be able to offer is to help people find what they're being called to and how to be more effective in what they're called to, and to trust themselves more, in that calling.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, really appreciate you fielding big questions, and I think that like a lot of those of us who have grown up as embodied males in this culture are trying to figure out ways to like live that dynamic in a more sane way, and the questions are like, they are vast, and so I appreciate you fielding those and bringing them back.
Yeah, and really, Travis, I love working. I love working with men too, and I think there is an incredible invitation and challenge for men to be in their own sensitive, receptive, vulnerable, open-hearted, conscious selves, and also how do I move that effectively into life and in the world. So I don't think women are alone in this. This just happens to be for people in women's bodies.
So bringing it even more into the body, I wonder if there's some short exercise or practice that you may offer to our viewers that maybe they could do it at home while they're watching or listening.
I'd be delighted to do that. And I think what we'll start is telling people, I'll invite people to close their eyes in a moment, but obviously only do that if you're in a safe place to do that. So no closed eyes while driving. Okay.
Sounds good.
So let's just all softly close our eyes. And wherever you are, you might want to straighten your posture a little bit. And just feel, if your feet are on the ground, feel the roots of your feet going down through wherever you're sitting, feeling that energetic connection to the earth herself. And draw that earth energy up through your body. Here I am. Here I stand, here I sit on this planet at this time. Here I am. And draw your awareness on the breath up through your body, inhabiting your feet, your ankles, your legs, into your pelvis, your genitals, your belly. And feeling breath filling you, filling and emptying all of its own, that you don't have to alter it. And bringing your awareness up through the belly, through the solar plexus to your heart. And let the breath breathe your heart softer and open. Let the breath massage, open, soften your heart. So the breath of your heart can come in and open and feel that movement like a gentle laughing wave inside your body with the pulse of the heart, which is life-giving, the pulse of your blood and your energy. And bring your awareness up into your throat. And let again the breath open and massage the throat. And let that center of your body soften and open wide. So you can imagine that your voice could sound itself into life with beauty and power, with authenticity, with calm. And bringing your awareness up through your face, letting your jaw be relaxed. And bring your awareness right to what is sometimes called the third eye, right above between the eyebrows. And again, let breath open. And we can ask in our hearts, may wisdom and true sight be available to me. May consciousness, awareness, and presence open like a lotus flower in me. May I be home in myself. And feeling breath flowing through your body all the way up. And now let breath expand right up to the crown chakra, but fill the whole skull, front and back. Let breath fill your whole body, front, through, around, back. And breathe breath particularly into the skull, feeling it soften and open, that it doesn't have to hold so tightly. And feel that channel of breath moving right up to the crown. A little soft spot at the top of our heads we all have as babies before we're fully here and incarnate. And we can feel breath and awareness opening that center in us, flowing out our energy, our breath, showering out, reaching into the vastness, and falling back and being breathed in again. So let's just take another moment with feeling that circulation of breath from earth through the body, through the centers or chakras, up into the cosmos, where that separateness can get offered up and flowing back down and through us. One breath, one body, one heart. And let us ask First for ourselves, may I know peace, may I know compassion, may I have clarity and ease in my life. May I trust that which is shown to me and that which is mine to do. And as we turn our attention from that prayer, from that intentionality, our inner alignment to those calls of ourselves, our heart, our spirit, our mind, the truth of our body. And let's spread that out to all beings, and those who suffer under oppression. May I be of service in whatever way is mine to do. May I be shown my gifts. May I be offered pathways that help me feel in correct relationship to who I am and to what I know I am and can be, and to what I have not only to receive from them, but to offer back into life itself. And if your circumstance allows, put your right hand right on your heart center and your left hand right on your belly. Connect into intention and breath and awareness, our love and our power, our compassion and our capacity, our yearning to serve and that which we have to give. And if you'd like, you can put your hands in the prayer position and just bow to yourself, to life, and to whoever else is listening and watching to you. Pretty nice. And I get to sit here looking out at a beautiful ocean vista. I wonder whether for our end, Travis, I could see if I could catch a little of that on the camera for you and the people watching. Can we try that?
Please. Yeah.
Okay.
Please do.
And you tell me whether I've got you there or not. Can
Okay. We need to go up a little more.
Okay. How's that?
We need to point out towards the horizon.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
There
Beautiful.
we go. I wish all of you that beautiful ocean.
Can you just can you pop into my computer maybe every afternoon with something like this?
That'd be nice.
It's pretty much the best little 10-minute work break I could ask for. So thanks for that, and I hope lots of people tuning in are enjoying similar experiences I just had. So it's been great having you on the line here, Judith.
Great. Thank you, Travis. I've enjoyed talking with you.
And I encourage everyone who's watching or listening to go to our website, of course, shambhalamountain.org, and look under programs. You can learn more about Sacred Embodiment, Sacred Service, the retreat for women, which once again is happening September 26th through the 28th with Judith Ansara, who's been kind enough to offer us her presence here today. And we hope to host a lot of you up here, a lot of you women, for the retreat. We look forward to hosting you, Judith, and your daughter.
Thank you.
So I think that's all for now. And please stay tuned to our website for more updates and programs and for more interviews and stuff like this. So
great.
You all be very well and happy and have ocean-like equanimity for the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.